Sam O'Reilly with the Fight Talk podcast. We are back, man. It's been a month, you know.
It feels like
it's been a whole fucking month.
It feels like a long time.
Was it Davis, wasn't it? Davis Pagan was on the last one.
Davis Pagan was the last one. When he dropped you with that body shot.
He didn't drop me, bruv. No one.
Did.
I can't be dropped. Why are you talking shit? If Dan Aziz couldn't drop me, Davis Pagan ain't dropping me.
Listen, there was like a chalk line of your body on the floor.
We'll see, mate. I'll drop you. Carry on.
Oh, while we're on the subject, every boxer that comes in there, we agreed gets to punch Sam to a body shot.
See, yeah, that's true. I agreed to that, right? And then what happens? Davis tries to be the big man when the camera comes out and puts everything. What? He's never landed a shot like that in the ring.
Why are you scared of a light welter?
Bro, did I say I'm scared?
Why are you so scared?
I tell you hit me
Don't
first.
Be so scared.
And I'll let him
be so scared. There might be none of you left.
Mate, listen, Davis Pagan ruined it for everyone.
Listen.
If Dan Aziz, a massive punching light heavy, can hit me and I was alright.
Dan Aziz is a nice person.
Yeah, Davis ain't. He's a mug. Mate, I saw his fucking eyes change. You know the nice guys, and then it's just the savage come out of him. Yeah. So he tried to hurt me, man. So fuck that guy. Yeah, no, I don't mind. You can just.
You know, have to get that on video.
We get that on video.
We'll see what happens.
It's a thing now. So listen, if you don't.
When did it become a thing? It happened once, and now you've decided it's a thing. Everyone's got to give me a body shot.
I enjoyed it, and everyone else is doing it. You might not have.
Mate, that's a liberty. We'll see what happens.
Take one for the team, mate.
Right.
People only watch the podcast for that.
It's not live, bruv. There's no cameras in
it. They watch like the videos. That's the only reason they tune in, to see if someone's punching you today.
Is it?
Yeah.
They should.
Is that the only one you've done?
Dan Aziz done me and he was alright. I was like, yeah, and then Davis just went fucking far, mate.
Is that the only two?
Only two, yeah. We only started. Well, he's decided it's got to be.
I fucked him up once, you know. We had a sparring
session. Oh, he's a liar. You know this.
He's a
liar.
He tapped out of the boxing.
You bit me.
You tapped out.
You bit me.
You took me down.
He bit me. The cunt bit me. The cunt was latched onto my chest. Adrian Martin's here watching it, not breaking it up. He's the worst ref in fucking history. This cunt's latched onto me with his fucking teeth.
Didn't your wife?
Yeah, she did. She got the broom and everything. Get off him! Like an African mother, she was. She was like, get off him. No, mate, you fight like a fucking street, winner, I guess. Yeah. How's your last fight? Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the BT card last night. You ain't seen all of it, Alfie.
No,
I ain't introduced him yet. That's you prick. We are here.
Rude.
Alfie Price is here. 2-0 Alfie Price. Obviously, later on in the pod, we'll go in detail about your career and your amateur career and stuff like that. We do that a bit later on. But today, at the start, obviously, we just sort of go over the recent boxing and stuff. So. Yeah, did you watch any of the boxing last night?
I see bits. I was at a family meal yesterday, so I couldn't watch it. I watched bits of it. I see Paddy Barnes got done, didn't he?
He got dropped bad.
Terrible body shot.
That body shot, yeah.
He looked strong, that geezer, though. He's
I think he was getting bust up anyway from the start.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. There's different opinions, and I try not to listen to the commentary too much because they force their own agenda down your throat.
They were saying he was getting outgunned.
He was.
He was getting outgunned.
He looked a lot smaller in the geezer as well.
Yeah, that Rosales is only 23 as well. 23, and he's got losses on his record to like Selby. Andrew Selby, that is not even. Yeah, like he's lost, and he's 23, world champ. Yeah, flyweight, innit? Like I think they're fairly shallow divisions for these geezers weigh 8 stone.
They've done well to find 23 opponents.
Yeah, I know, but the thing was,
he's had 30 fights, hasn't he? He's had 30 fights, 27 wins.
Yeah, after he got beat by Andrew Selby a year ago, he went and had 7 fights in a year, and then won his world title this year. So fair play to him, man. But the thing with Paddy Barnes, like. He's good, and then it sounds ridiculous because
amateur he was.
Exactly, he's Ireland's most decorated amateur. But I think it's becoming more and more clear and more apparent when people are turning over now. They ain't the same.
No, it ain't.
Do you know what I mean? What do you think? Because what's the differences? You're a newly turned professional, as it were. What are the major differences for you?
I think it's strength. Another thing is strength. I think like the boxing game, like amateurs, very good amateurs, they take like they're good, skillful. Well, it's a totally different ball game. It's man strength. You know, like. I'm glad to say I've got the strength to do it. I think so anyway. So it's just different fighters. Everyone's different. So
yeah, which would you think?
I've always said from the start, junior boxing is different to senior boxing as an amateur. In the same way that senior boxing is different to professional boxing. In professional boxing, it is more of a fight. The problem, it's not a problem. It's just the way pro boxing is. You can have all the skill in the world, become a professional boxer. Someone can walk in off the street, learn a little bit of boxing. If they've got freakish power, they've got a chance in boxing. They've got a chance in boxing, so it can be given to people just like as a gift, if you like. So that doesn't happen as much in the amateurs because at the time when I was boxing as an amateur, it was head guards. The gloves were not the same. They say 10 ounce and 10 ounce. Pro gloves are not the same as amateur gloves. Hit with a 10 ounce glove, Alpha.
The padding is different.
The paddings are different as well, aren't they? The paddings are different. So getting it with a 10 pro ounce glove, getting it with or an 8. compared to getting him an amateur glove with a head guard,
Yeah.
makes a massive, massive difference.
Paddy Barnes was in his 6th professional fight last night, and obviously went for a world title and ended up getting stopped by a much younger man who's, if we're just including professional boxing, has a lot more experience. Was it too soon for him? But then you've got to take into account his age, obviously.
Someone put on Twitter yesterday that it was a man versus a boy, but he was older than... He's 30.
Yeah,
he's 31, 23.
Yeah.
And he said he meant in boxing experience. And then David Hay, you know, you'd have to bring him up in every single podcast that's ever existed.
I don't think we brought him up in the last podcast. The Haymaker. We should go back and edit it instead.
He said, I lost train of thought now. He made a good point yesterday about experience. Where he's had more years in the game, his body's had time to build up a tolerance to longer rounds, more strength, more endurance. Whereas, yes, he's a skillful amateur, he's got all the skills, got all the moves, but professional over longer rounds, you build up a more solid base of endurance. So sometimes you do get amateurs that can win the ABAs.
For 3 rounds.
Yeah, they win the ABAs. They'll come and spar a boy that was an average amateur, but has transitioned very well into being solid and making it work in the pros. And it's a different game.
Yeah, it is.
It's a different game.
If you're Paddy Barnes and you look at it, and you look at his record now, right?
7-1.
Yeah, he's 5-1. 5-1. That was his 6th fight. Yeah. Do you listen? You don't know his aspirations, so it's hard for us to determine. But what I'm getting at is when that Nicaraguan guy lost Rosales, he went and had 7 fights in a year, and then got his world title. Is that something Paddy Barnes is going to do? Because he's used to now having big fights and big nights in Belfast. They've given him like a big, you know, there's a lot around him, isn't there? There's a lot of hype around him in a way. I know people.
There seems to be a trend at the moment, don't there?
That's what I mean.
Turning pro,
and getting these
and
early
getting
shots.
straight up there.
Yeah.
Getting straight up there. I'm not against it. I'm not totally against it. But maybe why can't they all fight a little bit less important fights? Why are they taking them so early? They could fight. They could fight each other like a. They're waiting 6 fights and fight for a world title. Why are they doing this so early? They're skipping so much work as well.
Yeah.
And this is an example of a time that perhaps they shouldn't have skipped so much work. Listen, he only got hit with a shot. Anyone can get that shot. For me, he was getting outgunned anyway.
I thought he was losing the fight.
If he'd have gone on and lost 12 rounds, lost on points. Listen, he's got in there. He's gone 12 rounds as a world champion. He hasn't. To me, he's got outgunned for 3 rounds and then stopped. So he needs to take a few steps back. Don't have to go right back to basics, but take a few steps back. A few more hard. Reasonably hard, but we kind of 60-40 fights.
Yeah.
Build himself up.
This is the problem you have. Me as a fan and all of boxing fans, I don't want to see a high-level amateur go in there and fight a journeyman. Because, in my personal opinion...
Would you rather see then a contender that was a low-level amateur be a lamb to the slaughter to one?
But this is it.
Or is that giving them a chance?
No, it's true. It's getting the happy medium, isn't it? You can't have it both ways, because I'll sit here and Anthony Fowler and Joe Joyce and the high-level amateurs... I don't want to see him watch a guy that I've just seen a random heavyweight in York Hall on a small hall show. I don't need that. But at the same time, you can't run before you can walk. Although you're a high level in the amateurs, like you said,
it doesn't always translate.
Not the same. It doesn't always translate perfectly. So it's about getting the happy medium. World title and 6th fight. Listen, he had the bollocks to take it, but evidently it was too soon. Whether he can go and have 5 and 6 more now and build. Like, would he beat him down in the
How many titles has he fought for, though? Is that the first title?
That's the first world title, yeah.
That's a big step straight away.
Exactly.
Domestic titles.
Do you think, Alf, when you look at it and you go 6 fights in, if he had that same amount of fights again, could he be ready for a rematch with a kid? Or sometimes styles as well. Maybe he'd never beat that guy on his best day. What do you think is the best thing for Paddy Barnes to do now?
I reckon he should just have a couple weeks off, get back to training, and just have a few fights. See
just
what
anyone's
happens.
just
See where it goes. See where it goes from here.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard. He's getting on a bit. He's 30 years old.
That's a big factor, though, especially at them weight divisions. Like I said earlier,
they're small, they're shallow divisions.
Fury and the heavyweights, they can go on till 40. And these lighter divisions, you've got a smaller career. You lose your speed too quick in a career. Your career's a lot shorter. You can't. It's hard to keep the speed up and reactions up at the age of 40. Heavyweight, it's not so bad because you keep your strength. At these lower divisions, you've got a younger retirement age. So it being 30, yes, he hasn't got as much time. So maybe he has to go away and have quite a few fights pretty quick.
Oh, he's got to do something.
Natural.
Make it natural. We're talking before we click record again, boys. A couple of questions on the Barnes and Rosales fight. Paul Altai. No, one of them's Lewis Smith. The first one, Paul Altai. Do you think it was too early for Barnes' world title shot, or with him over 30, does he need to get on and go hard or go home? It's what we said, isn't it? there's a shorter life at the lighter weights. It's like, what do you?
Yeah, it was too early, but he needs to do it early.
Yeah.
So I think he made the right choice by doing it. It didn't pay off. Go away, have a couple more tough fights, win a national title, win a European title.
Yeah.
Then come back and have another
Sure,
go.
Frank could get him a WBO flyweight shot.
If he loses again,
Sonny, innit?
keep swapping around.
Yeah, WBO European. Sonny, is that fly or super fly?
And they're the same weight. They've been having a bit of
they're a little bit. Yeah, Sonny talks. I like Sonny. Like, some people don't like him because he's a bit of a pain in the arse, isn't he? But listen, he's getting his name out there. I ain't got a problem with him.
Alright.
I want to see him and Prince Patel. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Prince Patel, well, he's won the same title,
Prince Patel.
I've seen him in the gym. I was in West Ham and he was there, and
I've been sparring Imran. Imran was sparring him a few weeks ago. Yeah.
The weird thing is, a lot of people that know him better than I do have said, "Nice kid," like away from the camera and that. I've got my own opinion from the one time I've been in his presence. Wasn't a fan, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So time will tell whether that fight happens. I'd like to see it happen, man. Lewis Smith. How do you rate the rise of Christopher Rosales? As a year ago he lost to Andrew Selby, and he's now gone and won the WBC title in Japan, and now had an emphatic win over Barnes at Windsor Park. He looked class last night. He did. The hard thing is, it sounds bad to say, I don't watch a lot of them little weights. It's bad, isn't it? But flyweights and that, and super flies.
I don't watch boxing anyway.
Yeah.
First I heard of him was last night.
I'd heard of him because I remember the Andrew Selby, but you look at it and you go, I'm not gonna try and find a stream from Japan at 4:30 AM to watch a flyweight that I didn't know. I'm not on that level.
We've got a lot of regular listeners here, so I know that Sam doesn't hold his shit together for the podcast, and with Craig missing now, no one's actually watching boxing here. So what I'll do is I'll save you guys and I'll actually start watching boxing, because clearly Sam doesn't watch any boxing or know anything about it, so I'll help you out, mate.
Yeah? Cheers, Rich.
I'll help you out. I'll start watching a bit more
boxing. It's much appreciated, mate. What would I do without you, eh? Fucking idiot.
And I'm taking my dog back as well.
You ain't taking my dog.
Right, everyone, get on my Instagram later and look how happy this dog is to see me.
He's like seeing an old friend.
Jax is back, baby. He's coming home.
Let's move on to the next fight. I think there was Willie Warburton was on, but I went to... Where did I go? I think I went to get a drink or something. William Warburton was fighting
6-0, 6 knockouts.
Yeah, I didn't
made
watch
it
the
awkward
fight.
As usual.
Yeah. Who don't love William Warburton? I think he's my favourite journeyman.
You just don't know what he's going to do.
Him and Fonz Alexander are my favourite journeyman. It's just a tough man. Same.
I boxed Fonz on my last fight.
Did ya?
Very tough.
Yeah, I like Fonz. Yeah, we were there, British Royal. Yeah, we did. We watched that against Fonz. But William Warburton, same pair of trunks for, I don't know, 100 fights.
I like
has
like
trunks.
I like
will
don't
travel.
Look like much. He don't look like much. He doesn't even move gracefully when he does it all.
Yeah.
But when he wants to do it, he does what and it works.
My favourite William Warburton moment, right? The Friday night David Hayes show where Linus Udofia's opponent got turned around at the airport. They said, "No, you ain't got a visa or something." So they phoned William Warburton. It's about, I don't know, 8 hours before the fight.
Really? Is he the black guy?
Who, Warburton?
Yeah,
nah.
That's another dude. Then.
Yeah, that's another dude. Yeah, William Warburton, man. You'll recognise him. Everyone's fought him, like. And he rocked up on the day. He got there a bit late because he was coming from wherever he lives, like 4 hours drive. Just came up, put his gloves on and fought. Like, I love that shit. Like,
right.
Mate, just does his job.
The boxing game would be
exactly
like them sort of people.
Exactly. But then this is the same argument I have. I don't necessarily want to see him on my telly. Like, I go to, I don't know, 15, 20 small hall shows a year. Maybe not that many, whatever. And I see him fight all the time against guys, and I rank them by how they fight against him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, yeah, that's William Warburton there.
He actually looks really young in this picture.
Last night that looks 60 fights ago.
Last night he looks quite dated.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'll judge the guys he's fought. Like, I've seen him fight Chris Congo twice. You know what I mean? I sort of judge them how they perform against him. But I don't necessarily need to see him on my television on BT on primetime. That, in my opinion, that's for more well-matched fights, a 50-50 type thing. You know what I mean? So that's how I felt about that fight. So I didn't watch it. I thought I'd go down to York Hall and watch that level of fight. A 6-0 prospect, probably a good kid, against William Warburton. It didn't appeal to me to watch it on telly, but apparently he was a good fighter. This was it Crocker?
Yeah. Do you know what? Warburton made it look awkward for him.
Yeah, Lewis Crocker.
Warburton made it look awkward for him. Like,
yeah.
Obviously he banged a load of geezers out being 6-0, 6 knockouts, but he couldn't get hold of Warburton. He couldn't. Every time he'd set his feet, Warburton does what he does, like a sort of slap hooks, uppercut, down a cut, and then sort of spins off, does his weird lean back, and then moves off. Every time the guy set his feet, Warburton was on his toes again. A couple of bombs.
Am I wrong saying that? Like, although I love him and I watch him in the small
No,
hall.
shouldn't be on TV.
Yeah?
No, I agree with you, because that's our advert. That's our advert for boxing.
Yeah.
That is our advert as a sport.
Because there would have been a lot of eyes on that telly last night.
When you're friends and you're trying to sell boxing to your friends as a sport, and they go, all right, we'll watch boxing this weekend and we'll see what we think. And they've got some guy with 4 million losses and 27 wins. They just think, what's this about? It's rubbish. They don't know. That's what they will say. It's not. Obviously, I respect the journeyman.
We understand it, but not everyone does. How many people tuned in last night because Tyson Fury was on the card?
Someone told me a story the other day about how I speak to Casey Blair, a guy I boxed, and his friend told me about
head like a watermelon, yeah. Casey Blair.
Casey looks like a watermelon.
He
looks like a watermelon.
Was he Northern Irish geezer?
Yeah, Northern Irish. Yeah. I sent him a photo the other day of me. I didn't have a shot, he curled up in a ball, so I smiled for the camera and then carried on boxing. I sent it to his mate and his mate showed it to him. And then someone told me a story about a girl that was trying to take the piss out of him in a pub once, saying about he's shit because he's lost this many fights. But it just goes to prove that people don't understand. I mean, Casey, you are rubbish, by the way, mate. But jokes aside, they play an important, vital part in boxing and development of boxers. And people that think they're rubbish because they've got 48 losses and 2 wins, they do not understand business and they don't understand the sport. That's what they don't understand. Some of these guys, if they wanted, they can come and win. There is a guy, I can't remember, I think is it Jordan Granham. He was a national champion as an amateur,
now he's in the away corner.
And now he's won 2 fights. Do you think if he wanted to, he could have probably only lost 2 fights? So if you think these people are losing because they're not very good, you're wrong. You have to be a certain standard to become a journeyman. Someone could say, I want to be a journeyman, and the coach would say, you're not good enough. You'll get hurt. You have to be talented to be a journeyman. Yeah,
100%. There's an example, a guy called Ricky Askew, right? I think he's now 2-2 or something. He had 1 fight in the home corner, then he went away corner. Anyway, he's Steve Goodwin. He's signed by Steve, and he fought a guy called Kyle Sladden on his debut. I like Kyle. Ricky Askew punched the fuck out of him. Punched his head. He battered him on his debut, right? Got the win. So fucking Kyle lost his debut. The following week, he was fighting Daryl Church on Goodwin's show. It was the Haymaker show. Goodwin, another Goodwin fighter. And if you've seen the polar opposite performance that I've seen, you understand he got told off for winning. Do you understand what I'm saying? You said, you don't fucking do that again. You're in the away corner. You don't come as hard as you did. He battered Kyle Sladden. I think Daryl Church would have beat him, but he took a few digs and he didn't take no more. It just showed you the complete opposite of. He doesn't lose it in a week. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just politics. It's business. They're choosing to lose, but it's such a fucking weird game.
A week before he won.
Week before he battered a kid.
They choose to do what they're doing in there.
And he came back the following week in the away corner, took 2 digs and went down. It was really bad, and I was there at both fights, and I go, mate, this is where boxing falls down. You know, if you're not going to let an away, I'm good friends with Jamie Spate. I speak to him a lot, and he'll have say 2 or 3 fights booked in, and he'll go. One of the fights, he's like, they let me fight that fight. He's buzzing about it. Yeah. Like he's like, they let me fight this kid. Johnny Phillips, he fought in Bracknell on an Alciesta show in July.
Johnny Phillips, blonde kid.
I commentated on it for Alciesta, and Jamie is convinced he was robbed, right?
That blonde kid.
The blonde kid who knocked out Nathaniel Wilson on George Groves' card.
Yeah, he was 3-2 or something like that.
So Jamie gets excited now when he's allowed to fight. He's like, yeah, I'm fighting him. Like, it's crazy. Do you know what I mean? So people that understand the sport can. If people that disrespect
they do play a role, but they shouldn't be on TV.
Agreed. That's my thing.
Wasn't he an English champion, Jamie Spate?
Jamie Spate is still Southern Area featherweight champion.
Did he box Cordina?
Yeah, he got battered off Cordina. Yeah, Cordina stopped him. Bellotti stopped him. He's lost 12 or 14 in a row in the away corner. Still kept his title, and now October the 13th, he's defending his Southern Area title down in Bristol against Ryan Wheeler on 14 losses in a row. It's boxing, isn't it?
He's still Southern Area champ.
Still Southern Area champ. So that's the first time I've seen him selling tickets. Do you know what I mean? Even though he's still technically in the away corner, it's his title. Like, mad. Fucking mental game, boxing. Absolutely mental. There can't be many other sports where you could lose 14 in a row, but then fight for a title. Yeah, defend your title. Mental. But yeah, we've been sidetracked. Let's move on to that guy. What's his name? Tyson something. Fury. I ain't heard a lot about him the last couple of days. So fuck, you can't get away from him. Tyson Fury at the minute. The fight itself, Rich. Do you want to sum it up in 2 words, or can I do it? Fucking dull. Or is that a bit harsh?
No, listen, I understand what people are saying, because I was watching it last night, I was thinking, oh, it was dull, but it was exactly what he needed. He needed to get some rounds in. He messed about a little bit, he tried to do his Ali on the ropes.
At least he didn't fuck about as much as he did against Sefery.
What, except when he put his hands on the corner, put his chin out and slipped
Yeah, but he didn't kiss him on the lips and then turn around in the mid-fight and watch a fight in the crowd like he did against that was a bit...
For me, when I see that, I just got up and left.
Yeah.
So when I see that happen...
I found it insulting.
Yeah.
People have paid to come and watch you. I know he should come back, I get that, but...
I think you're looking at it wrong. You're looking at it wrong because...
You're going to go the entertainment side, yeah?
Nah. You're not there. You weren't there to watch Fury last night. You was there to watch Frampton.
Who?
Whoever was watching that show, you're not there to watch...
I disagree. No, I disagree.
No, listen, he was on the undercard.
I know it's Frampton. Yeah,
it's Frampton
yeah,
show.
but...
It's Frampton show.
Don't tell me some people didn't go to that because Fury was on the card.
They did, but that's not the headline. That's not... Is
that relevant?
At that point, he's developing himself. So you're going to have a go at me when I'm boxing a journeyman to bring my career on. Why are you coming to watch? This is a development fight for me. That was a development fight for Fury. You're just hating because he's more in the public.
Who's hating him? Mate, I'm not hating him.
You're hating on the fight.
Do you know what? I'm not hating on the fight. And I know he wanted rounds.
The way he acts.
It's not even so much that. It's the fact he never upped the gears. He never upped the level. Now, I get he wanted rounds. I get it's his second fight. And you look at his fucking... the weight. Mate, unbelievable what he's done. The transformation. But let me see you go through the gears. Like, any top fighter... When they're comfortable, you see them put their foot on the gas a bit more.
Listen, he's a levels fighter. He always raises and lowers his game to the level of the opponent.
I heard that last night, and then you think what because
shit, he just messes around.
Yeah.
The thing is, when he's beating someone up, he's not killer instinct. He's I can mess around now. That's Tyson Fury.
Do you remember when he boxed Chisora for the second time, and he was the first man to have Chisora. He didn't quit. Don Charles pulled him out. Obviously, David Hay had knocked Chisora out, but Fury got it to the point where his corner said he's had enough. And we're talking about Derek Chisora, who's one of the toughest fuckers in this country. His corner went, he's had enough.
No mass.
Yeah, no mass.
No
so if you're telling me he can get to Chisora to that stage, for me to believe he's back where he was, he should be doing that to Pianeta. That's my argument.
I would personally like to see him box against someone like Derek Chisora again.
No, not again. Fuck me, I'm sick of it.
Anyone that's floating about now around that level, just to see where he's at before he takes his fight.
Yeah.
But like I said to you earlier, from day to day, he's not always in the right mental space. So while he's in the right place, they need to take the opportunity to take these fights while he's in the right place. Because I know he's only 30, and as a heavyweight, he might last till 40. Tyson Fury's mind goes in and out of places that it shouldn't be. So while he's in a good place, he needs to take that opportunity because he don't know himself when he's going to be there again.
Oh yeah, I think he should have took the Wilder fight.
So he could have took a harder fight than this one to build it, and then it could have been a more.
I also think the Wilder fight has kind of come out of no. Like they've been talking a bit.
What if he'd have boxed Takam and done the same to Takam? Would you have complained then? What if he'd done the same to Dillian White? Would you have complained then? Everyone would have said,
"Not at all.
Why is he boxing these people?"
No, I wouldn't have complained at all. I just think I want to see levels, and Deontay's sitting there ringside, make a statement. This is Pianeta. I know he's fought for a world title, I get that, but my personal opinion, Tyson Fury isn't the most exciting fighter on his best day. No matter how his style isn't that fan friendly, yeah. So let's raise the level a bit. Show a bit more. Like I don't even know what I wanted from him. I just wanted more. I just wasn't happy with him coasting. He looked the same in the last round as he did in the first. Comfortable. And I just wanted a bit more out of him. That's how I felt. What do you think, Alfie?
Bit of flair or something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, it's just the same.
You know when you don't know? I don't know what I wanted. I wanted something else. And he didn't offer it.
And just that little jab, flip. It's boring,
Admittedly, watching it, I mean, obviously it's different when you're in there, as you know, Alfie. There was opportunities where I thought, well, he could have thrown some big flurries in there and had success. The guy was holding his hands super high. There was opening some massive body shots. You maybe would have liked to see him dig something to try and put him on the canvas towards the end of the fight. And I actually did think going into 9 and 10 he might go for a bit of a grandstand finish, but he did what he did for a reason, and
got the rounds in.
He's never been a knockout artist, so I don't know what you're expecting it to him now.
Exactly. He's never a knockout artist. He's not fan friendly style.
The problem is because he's got to this level, and the thing is, he's only really beat Klitschko, right? And I give him all the respect in the world for that because no one else could do it, and I stand by that. Joshua beat a beaten man that was beaten by Fury. And he's the only man to do that. But outside of that, he hasn't done much else. So we don't know really how high his level really is.
But this is that's the reason I don't buy into the argument that he raises it his better opponent. What if, right? And bear in mind, I've got the poster of the fight over there. I think it was one of the best fucking
What, the hay one?
The Fury Klitschko one over there from the stadium, right? I'm a big fan of what he did, right? But what if it was a freak performance? Some people have boxed above themselves for one night. It's happened. What if that's what Fury did?
Well, then he's done a very good job
of making us believe,
promoting himself,
it's the promotion.
and making money. And then when he gets paid millions for fighting Wilder, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Do you think he gives a shit about what Sam O'Reilly on the Fight Talk podcast says? Do you think he gives a shit what Richie Gray, who lost to Cheeky Grant, thinks? He don't give a shit what these people think when he's got his pockets lined. He's been a world champion. He beat the man that no one could beat. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what he does from here now. If his pockets are lined at the end of that fight, he's already been world champion.
Yeah, he won.
He ended an era.
Yeah.
He did that. No one else could do that. He did that. So what the fuck else does he need to do?
Alfie, let me ask you: is he good for boxing? When I say
He is
him,
good for boxing.
yeah, him. Is it everything around him? All the
Is he a good
controversy.
advert or a bad advert?
Yeah, is he a
I
good
think
or a bad advert?
I've always liked Tyson Fury. I've always liked him. I think he's good for boxing, but I don't think he could be as good as what he was when the Klitschko fight. I don't think he'll come back from that.
What do you think that is? Is that the weight gain and loss, or is
I just think he's lost it. I think he has lost it.
Yeah.
So I think why he's got to take these fights and why like now, I would.
What is it? The sharpness? When you say he's lost it,
I just think he ain't the same fighter.
no.
No.
There's no way I'll get it back for you.
Well, I've seen 2 fights, and
They didn't.
2 fights.
They don't look like the kind of fights you want before you go in with Deontay Wilder. Let's put it that way.
Of course not.
And that's what are you doing?
Trying to set his camera up. Trying to set a camera up for a live feed.
Give me my hat. My hair ain't done. You can't.
Isn't it going to make a difference, mate?
I
Your
know,
face is
I'm
at the
so
same.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to wing it.
There's people that are
Going live.
You're going live. He's going live.
Wing it.
This is a new portion of the podcast. Richie's decided to go live on his Instagram while we talk.
And we're just going to wing it.
We're going to see what happens.
Planned.
I've seen people discuss yesterday.
Looking handsome. Sam was there as well.
Let me talk then, you prick. I've seen people saying Fury yesterday showed his level because there's obviously a lot of talk on Twitter. Are you just keeping it on me?
Well, I'm going to have to for now.
Fuck that.
Can't find a spot.
Alright,
Let's move in and make a video look a bit better.
Well, let's move the mic then. You ain't going to get everyone in
You
here.
have to retest the mic. Well, I'll just have to
Test
move the
the
camera
mic
around.
Alright, I'm going to get this point out whether you let me or not, you prick.
Go.
There's a lot of people saying that they saw the best, that he showed his level last night. That was his big opportunity, and he couldn't step up any further. So you believe, Rich, that he will raise his game when he fights a better opponent than Pianeta?
I think it remains to be seen because, like we say, he's had one real big test against Klitschko. He's only really had one real big test, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility he could do it again. And I don't think anyone's going to know the answer until we actually see him fight a big competitive fight again.
That's it.
So that's the next question. Deontay Wilder. They reckon it's done December time. Did you notice? Yeah, they tried to get a date and a venue of Frank Warren, and he's like, "No, we ain't gonna talk about it till next week." And then fucking Tyson Fury goes, "When I see him in Vegas, I'm knocking him out." So it looks like it's exactly what he did.
He fucked that right
He
up.
fucked that right up. So looks like Vegas back end of the
I
year.
put a post on Facebook yesterday. Do you think this makes a bit of a... People talking about this fight, blah, blah, blah. Do you think he's partly took it to make an example out of Eddie Hearns and AJ? How can Eddie Hearn and AJ talk about this fight for 2 years and always a reason why it can't happen? He's come out after 2.5, 3 years on, had one fight and gone, alright, made it happen. Everyone goes, oh yeah, but... Someone said to me, yeah, but Wilder wants 50-50 against AJ. Well, Wilder's got an argument because he's still got a title that he hasn't, and you want to go to America where there's more money in Vegas. So he's got an argument. If anyone hasn't got an argument for 50-50, it's Fury, because Fury hasn't actually got anything to offer.
Well, Fury ain't took 50-50. They reckon he's about 35, apparently 30. Apparently Fury took about 30%, 35%.
But I don't think if the boot was on the other foot, AJ and Eddie wouldn't be willing to take that.
No,
they'd make it awkward. They'd make it awkward.
They'd want more.
We want more. We want this. We want that. So I think they've done that. They've made an example out of the other guys doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't make Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua.
Jamie Carley, Adam Martin.
People joining the live. This is a brand that you should probably tell the podcast what you're doing by going live.
Keep telling them it.
Yeah,
new people come on. We'll keep repeating it.
Yes, keep repeating it.
We'll keep repeating it.
Keep repeating it.
Because
people are joining. They don't know what the fuck they're joining, Richard.
This is Sam O'Reilly from the Fight Talk podcast.
Don't talk like that, bruv.
I don't talk like that, innit?
Get the camera out of my face, Richard. I don't like this idea. This fucking camera's doing my head in. Yeah, there's a lot of questions that we've been asked about this situation. I think Fury's took the fight at the right time because I know I've just been quoting the fact he ain't come up levels, but I agree with Rich. You don't know how his mindset's going to be after this fight. Big money fight. He's going to earn a lot. He's going to box in Vegas against the WBC champion of the world. So I think he's took it. I think it's the right idea taking it. Would you have took it?
100%, mate.
Yeah.
If I'd have got was 8 mil, 10 million.
Yeah, about that.
You're gonna take it, yeah. I'll step in with the best people in the world right tomorrow. Yeah. That sort of money.
Life-changing money. Do you?
I think it's a big factor of Tyson Fury not knowing where his mental state's going to be as well. Like I say, he's been lineal champion. He's won pretty much all the belts. There's not much anything else for him to do now.
He's done it all, hasn't he?
What else does he need? A couple of quid in his pocket.
That's it.
And then what? And then
money,
what else can he achieve out of boxing other than what he's done?
Nothing.
He's the man. We've run out of things to say. You need to.
No, I'm going to go through the questions now. Lou Smith, another question. With BT looking like they've got Fury and Wilder, and also Frampton and Warrington made, plus GGG and Canelo 2 all on pay-per-view, is it getting to the point where there are more pay-per-view shows than ever before, and are we getting to the point where there'll be less fight nights on Sky and BT?
Didn't listen to any of that.
You fucking bellend, didn't you?
I think we should have more free fights anyway.
Lou Smith, top one. Asking about the amount of pay-per-views we've got at the minute. Is it getting to the point basically where any good fight is going to be on pay-per-view? It's certainly starting to look that way. You know, in September we've got AJ and Povetkin. That is the week after Canelo Golovkin 2, and it's the week before Groves and Callum Smith. All three of them are on pay-per-view. So it's not fucking right. It's not. How can it be right that to watch all the boxing in 1 month you've got to spend 40 quid or 30 odd quid?
It's not right, but it's not going to change until people stop buying it.
That's the point.
If people keep buying it, they're going to keep doing it. I would do it. For a business point of view, if you're going to keep paying me more for that than you are for that, why would I not do it?
The argument is to get the big fights made, they need the pay-per-view pot. That's what Eddie Hearn said for the Dillian White and Joseph Parker fight. He said for that fight to happen at all, I had to have pay-per-view behind me. So you don't know if it's bullshit, you don't know, but from a business point of view, if people are still buying it, you're going to keep putting it on, aren't you? Do you buy all the pay-per-views? What's your situation?
I don't normally buy them. It's just on Facebook normally. I scroll through Facebook instead.
Oh, I can't support that.
You can't support that whatsoever.
Listen, as a boxer, you should be supporting the other boxers. Yeah. What happens when it comes to your fight night and you're boxing on, let's say, an MCK show or something that's on Box Nation, and every single one of your ticket buyers says, "No, I'm just going to live stream it," and then you can't sell a ticket, but you're one that's encouraged that by streaming it yourself. Bad, yeah. So when someone says, "Can I live stream the boxing?" I don't mean to put it on you here, because I say it to my friends all the time. Like, they'll try and do it, and I've put it on the podcast before. I understand that you want to live stream. Like, I totally get that.
You hate live streams, innit?
I hate live streams. Even my own fights, they live stream. I get that. I get profile out of it.
The Sky I'd have to buy because I ain't got the Sky, but the Box Nation I've got it. So
everything can be streamed on the internet. Everything.
Yeah, you can stream anything nowadays.
As a boxer, I don't think you should be encouraging that, because what if all of your supporters go, right, we'll buy one ticket.
Then I don't get no money.
We'll all get one. We'll buy one ticket. We'll all chip in 100 of us. Give one person £5, and someone's going to go to the fight and record it for you. So everyone else ain't got to go.
No, that is bad.
What if they did that?
Looking like that, then yeah.
That's the argument with Small Hall being streamed, isn't it? If you stream Small Hall, it takes the option away from a lot of guys' ticket sellers. That's what it does. You know what I mean?
If it's on like a big show where millions of people are going to watch, it's totally different.
It is. You're right, because it has to be big enough for it to say you're going to go, right, I'm going to lose 20 tickets in ticket sales, but my sponsors are going to give me more because I'm on fucking Sky or whatever. So when it's just streamed on, whether it's YouTube or whatever, if it ain't a massive show and you ain't earning that extra out of sponsors, I don't get why fighters want it streamed. That's the way I look at it. I mean, each to their own, innit? Some guys will go, yeah, but I'll get more exposure in my second, third and fourth fight than I would have. So it's what suits different people, I guess. Some more questions. Where are we? I just had them. Alright, Sam Khan. Given Fury's performance last night, is he actually ready for Wilder and a worthy pay-per-view? Isn't the Wilder matchup merely a good strategy to isolate Joshua from the big money for the next 1 or 2? It's a good point. When you go Frank Warren's made Fury Wilder, has he made it because he believes Fury can win, or did it feel like a feather in his cap because I got the fucking fight and Eddie Hearn didn't?
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
It's always about it.
It's in it. It's the competition.
Yeah, it is, mate.
It's part of the competition, but like I said before, it's a lot to do with Tyson Fury's state of mind as well. He's in a good state of mind now. He's just come back off of his period, if you like. He's period
I don't
away.
think he had a period.
He had a period away.
Yeah, period away.
He's a period away, right? So coming back off the back of that, while he's at a good mental state, it's a great opportunity for him to take the fight. But yes, I do think it's a big fuck you to the other boys on the other side who've
which is an added bonus
been
maybe.
fucking around for 2.5 years saying we'll make the fight. Oh, we can't agree on this. We can't agree on that. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's their fault. Tyson Fury just come back after 2.5 years out, had one fight and made the fight happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he probably agreed to all their demands. So what? He made the fight happen. The people wanted it. He made it happen. So what? So
he didn't have the bargaining chip though. Well, obviously, when Eddie's interviewed about this with Coogan, they'll sit down and have half hour and he'll say, you know, I'm not surprised he took it because they ain't got no bargaining chips, which is true. He ain't got 3 belts like Anthony Joshua has. Do you know what I mean? And he's also not a pay-per-view, a box. Like, listen, Anthony Joshua could shadow box and sell 10,000 pay-per-views, like no doubt. But
yeah, we'll tell Kelsey he's on the podcast.
Fury don't have that. I think people are more interested by him now than they were before this fucking period away. I think
because he always have a lot of bad media, didn't he?
Yeah.
Him as well. See, with Joshua, everyone loves Joshua. He's got the face, isn't he?
He's the golden boy, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. With Fury, like he was getting a lot of bad press. People just slating him. People like basically around the country didn't really like him.
And you know what you noticed as well last night? What happened at the end of that fight?
What, we had the face off?
No, what happened before that? The second that final bell went in the Fury Pianetta fight, what happened? The fans booed the fuck out of it.
That's because they weren't happy with the fight.
Yeah, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, they're fickle motherfuckers, boxing fans. You know, it doesn't take long for them to be like go from buzzing
but I think that's
to
the thing.
shit.
Even before this night happened, everyone was saying Fury's boxing. No, Fury, fuck that. The night was about Cole Frampton.
No, you're wrong, man. You're so
about,
wrong. No, I'm not having it.
It was the main event.
It's
I know
not,
what you're saying.
Rich, that ain't relevant because Tyson Fury's face was on every poster.
I
didn't see one poster that was just Frampton against. What was that mushy beat?
I know, the unknown Australian from Tasmania, actually, he was from.
Luke Jackson, his name was.
Luke Jackson from Tasmania.
Yeah, now.
That's some respect.
Frampton, when you say it was all about Frampton, the homecoming was. Yeah, it was supposed to be. But
I know
Frampton weren't getting future opponents getting fucking chicken thrown at them in Nando's, weren't it? No, it was all about Fury, mate. You need to get your nut around this.
Maybe Frampton needs to go out and throw chicken at people.
Maybe he does, but what I'm saying is, you can't sit there and go, well, Fury was an added bonus. Nah, mate.
He was.
He weren't, because his face was on the... It was sold. If you remember, let me tell you this. The day they announced they were going to Windsor... Get the camera out, man.
I put you off.
Oh, mate. I'm going to fucking weigh him in. Bring back Craig. If you remember, when they announced it was going Windsor Park and it was a stadium fight, they didn't go, it's just Carl Frampton. They went, Frampton's on it, Fury's on it, blah, blah. Fury is a major selling point for them now.
I totally get that.
He's never been a pay-per-view star.
I totally get that.
But now he is their new selling point. They got him and Hearn didn't. He is their...
I agree. That show wouldn't have done as well without Fury.
100%
I totally agree with that. But he was an add-on.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree. It
was a development fight for him.
I believe Anthony Joshua is the only man in the fucking world, maybe in the country, because if you look at Canelo, he does the same, where people will buy it just because he's on it, whereas the opponent don't matter and the card don't matter.
What do you think Fury's opponent mattered last night?
But he wasn't the main. What I'm saying is Frampton. I'm thinking
of... I just said to you a minute ago, he was having none of it.
What I'm saying is Frampton was... You're saying he was the main man last night, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have sold it out without something being behind him.
Yeah, he wouldn't have sold it
Josh
out
was the only one that can do that.
All added bonuses, isn't it? Yeah, Josh is the only one who could do that, yeah.
Exactly, so it had to have something underneath it. So, although I understand he was the main event and etc., it wasn't even a world title. It's still an interim world title because Oscar Valdez is injured. So it's still not a world title fight. The card, in one way or another, didn't turn out to be full of great fights. The 4 fights that made it on telly, how many of them were 50-50s? So the event itself,
supposedly,
it was more about the home fighters.
Supposedly 2 of them was.
It was more about the home fighters, and Fury was a big part of that, and even more so, Wilder was a big part of that because they pulled this fucking rabbit out of the hat.
Do you think they paid Wilder to come over to do that?
Yes, I do.
Do you think they paid him to do that for the show?
Definitely.
That's only just come to me on the spot there. They must have said, "Listen, you come over."
Eddie Hearn didn't let Wilder come to the game to the fight. Did he?
All that stuff with the Nando's as well. Do you reckon that was all?
No, that was Billy Joe Saunders and his mate.
That was Billy being
just messing about.
Because they all come together after.
I know they shook hands.
Did you see the close-up video?
I've seen about.
There was something mentioned about racism. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Billy Joe called Deontay a racist.
Yeah. Billy Joe shook his hand, and Deontay went to him. Did you say I was a racist? And Billy went, yeah. So what? Yeah. I mean, listen, he's a brave man, and then you've got a group of 6'8" African American geezers stand up there.
American.
That's what he is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's African. Yeah.
He's an African American.
You could have just said a black guy. You don't even know they're all American. Some of his
I'll
mates
tell you
might
what,
be
he's definitely
English.
American.
He might have English mates, you racist.
He's definitely American.
Not all black guys are American, Rich.
Well, Deontay Wilder's American, I'm pretty sure.
He is a little bit American.
He's African American.
Do you know that bomb squad thing? Does that cringe you out as much as it does me? When you see him walk into a weigh-in and just scream bomb squad. It's so WWE, isn't it?
And they've all got their own thing, ain't they?
Let me say, that's one question actually. Jay McCarthy, when did boxing literally turn into WWE?
Yeah, no.
It's gone a bit like that lately, isn't it?
Yeah, special move in that.
Fucking throwing chicken at each other in the build-up and...
I tried to tag Al in my last bout, like in round 4, but I was like, I ain't getting in there.
That's yeah, no, we can't, like, although last night was extremely WWE, like with the Wilder getting in and the in the face and stuff, Eddie Hearn's been making money off that for years now. You know, the Bellew, what he done to David Haye when he kicked the Tobler on him after the BJ Flores fight. So Hearn's made so much money off it, so I can't just get on and say Warren did it last night, and it's started to become a regular thing. To build up these fights, it gets a bit fucking cringy, doesn't it? But it's how you get the casual fans interested, I guess.
Yeah, he's getting like that now. A lot like that.
It's true. Sitting there, yeah, it's sitting there in Nando's throwing chicken at each other, and it's shown everywhere, isn't it? And it just builds this little bit extra.
What I think it might be though? It's where there's more available cameras now with camera phones and stuff like that. I don't think it's more set up. I don't think it's more set up. I just think these things were probably happening before, but we catch all of it on camera now.
Yeah,
it's all caught
everyone's
on camera.
got a camera.
Everyone's got a camera. You can't do nothing now before a fight against an opponent without it being caught on camera. There's always someone around, especially these guys at this level. Fury can't walk in Nando's and just sitting there and order his Nando's. Someone's going to take a photo of him, record him. If he starts swinging chicken around, someone's going to get that on camera.
Yeah.
And then someone's going to say, Fury kicked off and went wild and threw chicken at everyone.
Yeah.
So it doesn't... All this stuff was always happening, but it wasn't always caught on camera.
But the build-up, the opponent build-ups have changed. I think the last couple of years you've noticed that they've got a little bit more... What's the word I'm looking for? They're a little bit more intent. That back in the day, you'd have guys that they would call each other out and they'd do it on an interview and stuff like that, and it would happen. Now, because of social media and because the way it reacts and little sound bites and little clickbait, it's a done thing to get someone in the ring screaming this and getting people chinning someone at a press conference and getting someone kicking a Toblerone. Because as soon as they do that and it does 1.5 million views...
When you say Toblerone, do you mean chocolate bar?
Yeah, I don't know.
The advertising Toblerone.
He's kicking a chocolate bar.
You know the advertising Toblerone? What do you call them? In the
I have no idea the whole time.
Well, we've got a Toblerone at Goodwin shows. They're called a Toblerone. Advertising Toblerone.
Whatever you say...
They're advertising.
In my mind, I've been imagining someone boating a chocolate bar.
Big ones again.
You know, around the ring, the advertising little thing.
Oh yeah, them little things.
They're called Toblerones.
It'd be like my dad's birthday when I was like 11. I'd be like, my dad likes Toblerones, so I get it.
Mate, I can't believe
and I never came up with what you're talking about.
I'm educating you, Rich, mate. They're called advertising Toblerones, right? We've got a Fight Talk, one of the Goodwin ones. You've seen them, fighttalk.net, on the Goodwin canvas. They're called advertising Toblerones. So now you know what I'm talking about. I'll say my point again. Tony Bellew kicked one at David Haye, do you remember? Oh look, he's got his phone on.
We're on a live podcast.
But what I'm saying is because as soon as he's done that, it does 1 million views on YouTube, it does 1 million on Twitter and fucking Insta. It's now built it even more because you can't get away from it. Social media is that important. It builds things up without even needing to. Like it doesn't even... As soon as they've happened, they're everywhere. Whether you want to see it or not, you're going to see it on every bit of social media. That's why it happens. So, yeah, it is proper WWE like nowadays, but... Guess it's the world we live in, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Final question on the Fury fight, because there's quite a few and I don't think we have time for all of them. But Hayes Lincoln, thanks for the question, mate. I think that's the first one you've sent in, actually. Has AJ's status been lowered a little since the Fury Wilder fight was made so quickly? I don't think his status... I don't think his status is lowered, but the mistake they've made is somebody's stock is going to rise out of this fight. Whether Wilder wins or Fury wins... Someone is going to be the guy that just beat the other guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Wilder beats Fury, he goes, I beat that guy you were scared to fight. If Fury beats Wilder, he goes, I beat the guy you were scared to fight. They're going to have an extra little bit of added ammunition against Joshua.
Whoever's going to win that fight is...
Well, after this, they can tell me and say, who needs you?
Yeah, well,
but he's got the belts and the money. I get that. But in boxing, just fighting terms, they can go...
They beat the other top...
If you want to be a top division fighter like us, you've got to fight one of us. And the winner's going to have a lot of play with that. Like you say, his stock's going to go up, so he can say, well... We're willing to fight each other, you're not.
Is it widely regarded... Am I right in saying it's widely regarded they're the top 3 heavyweights in the world? Dillian White thinks he's got an argument. He's fought more bigger names recently than Fury has done.
I'd like to see that fight. Dylan
Yeah.
White, he's
I
good.
like Dylan. I like
Ortiz
Dylan
as
White a lot.
well, he's good.
Yeah. So is it fair to say that they're probably the top three: Fury, Wilder, Joshua, and 2 of the 3 are going to fight each other?
It is fair to say it, but is it really fair to put Fury in that without
I know.
fighting someone for 3 years?
I know. It's difficult.
Without fighting someone for 3 years.
It's difficult. I mean, how do you think the fight plays out? Let's have a prediction now, an early prediction. Fury Wilder. You tell me, Rich. Who wins, Fury Wilder?
Come back to me. I need to think about it for a minute.
Alfie Price.
I would like to see Fury win, but I don't think he will. I think Wilder points.
Wilder points.
Mm.
I think it's either Wilder knockout or Fury points.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but that's always my on the fence. Can't make a decision.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, like, would he get knocked out?
But he's been on the deck before through lesser punches.
Cunningham, who was a
He got up and
cruiserweight.
knocked him out though, didn't he?
He did because he ran out of gas. He's a cruiserweight as well. He ran out of gas. Yeah,
But
he was a
then
long
equally,
time.
I know that Wilder's a monstrous puncher, but who has he knocked out? I know he's got
Ortiz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone else.
Fury beat
And
Klitschko.
38 other geezers.
So
Yeah,
we
I know,
can
I know.
forget about
But-
Ortiz because he can match up with his Klitschko fight. So other than them 2 fights,
Okay.
who has he knocked out?
Stavern.
Who's Stavern?
Gerald Washington.
They're not
big,
no bigger names than people that.
No, I know.
Fury's box.
They're not bigger names than Fury's
I
box.
believe-
Fury's boxed fucking Derek Chisora twice.
Yeah.
No.
They're just as equal as them ones.
Yeah.
They're big in America. They're not big here. So the fact is, they've only both beat one star.
I think depending on who you want to win, you can make a big argument for both. Fury looks big compared to everyone.
But equally, Fury usually uses his size and awkwardness to win fights.
I-
He hasn't got that size advantage.
Of course he does. He's going to have 4 inches on Deontay and 3.5 stone. Mate.
Deontay Wilder is a big man as well. When he's bigger than most.
He's got little legs.
He's 6'8".
He's bigger than most of the other men.
Fury's 6'9", Deontay's 6'5".
Oh, he's got
And
fins.
Deontay weighs 15 stone 4. And last night, looking great, Tyson weighed 18.6. That's 3 stone that he can lay all over Deontay. If he, listen, for 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds, just lay on him. Just have him up against the rope, tire him out, old man him like Klitschko did to everyone else for the last 10 years. What he did to David Haye, what he did to fucking everyone. Just put all that frame all over Wilder. Watch your mouth. Still the greatest cruiserweight we've ever produced in this country.
Tony Bellew's better.
Shut your mouth, bro.
They beat him twice, didn't they?
Oh, stop. I'm not,
Why did you knock him
why'd you
out?
rile me up? Why
Not too bad at all.
did you have to rile me
Tony
up?
Bellew's the greatest cruiserweight.
They never fought cruiserweight, they fought heavyweight. So
That's because David Haye was too scared to do it cruiserweight.
fuck off. You just like to wind me up. This has just become a ribbing session, this fucking podcast. It's like a month away and the child in you just wants to be abusive to everyone.
You took my dog from me.
Is my
You
dog.
took my dog.
My dog
You
is home.
kidnapped my dog and he wants to come back. He's been scratching from that window the whole time.
It is not. Fuck
They've
off.
all seen the video. All go on my Instagram, watch the video. Very excited to see me, and the one where he's sad, where he didn't want to leave.
Have you quite finished?
No,
Carry on.
you give my dog back.
Are we going to talk about Frampton? Did you watch the fight in full?
Everyone after the fight, I did watch the fight in full. I drifted in and out of it. It was a good performance, and everyone said it was probably one of his best performances. I got attached to him in a small period of his career at one point, and then lost interest, and I found it hard to get back attached to his career. And last night was no different. Like I really tried, but I couldn't get the. He was well above the level of the opponent, and
Yeah.
I think it was so unfair of me to say it to Frampton. It really is, because he's a good fighter, but I just can't.
He doesn't do it for
It
you.
just doesn't do it for me. So it's
do you
hard for me
think,
to stay
Alf?
engaged.
I've always liked Frampton.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good boxer, very good boxer.
You
Who's
Do you-
that? I remember that fight he had in the States.
yeah,
One
Santa
of the-
Cruz.
When he, no, not at Santa Cruz. There's another tough Mexican. He got killed, murdered.
Oh
That was a good fight. He
Yeah.
got put on the floor twice as well.
Yeah, that was that was just before the Quig fight. That was his last fight, I think, before the Quig fight. It was in like Texas or somewhere
that's
random.
it, yeah.
And yeah,
Tough
he got
geezer.
hurt, man. He got hurt
Dropped
bad.
twice. He won it though. Yeah, I've always liked
Do you know with Frampton, I don't know if his best days. Like, he's a 2-weight world champion, right? And you look at him and you go, are you as good as you were under Shane McGuigan? Are you as good as you were 2 years ago? I don't know if his best days are past. Are Frank Warren and BT getting a slightly past his best Carl Frampton? Or is he just waiting for this big fight? You know what I mean? Because it wasn't a big fight for him last night. It wasn't.
I liked his performance last night though. He did box well. He was getting in and out.
He's
doing
very
He
professional.
did look really nice.
Although
last
he
night.
struggled at the weight again. He struggled at the weight again, which is surprising to me. He had to get naked for the weigh-in to get
He's lean though. He's always lean. He's never out of shape. He never looks drained.
He used to be 4 pounds.
He doesn't look fucked. He never looks fucked. Like you see fighters before when you say they struggle at the weight, and the next day they look like they've struggled at the weight.
Yeah.
He does it the next day when he's coming in these fights. He does look fresh. He doesn't. I've never looked at him and thought he looks fucked.
Yeah. That brings us on to our next question, which is Frampton Warrington. Looks like it's been made. BT announced it. Yeah. I don't think they've done a date or anything yet, but no. Frampton Warrington. How do you think that fight plays out?
I think Frampton, definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Do you think that Warrington...
I did write him off against Selby.
So did I.
I did write him off against Selby.
I said that was easy. No doubt Selby beats him.
I said Selby all day, but pulled out the bag and he beat him. Easy as well.
Do you think, you know, we was talking about one-off great performances? Do you think that could have been Warrington's, or do you think maybe...
I don't know, I think it was all that mind games that he's doing.
Yeah, he got in his head.
He just played with him, battered him, didn't he?
He did, he bashed him up. In Leeds as well. I wonder when they're going to do this one, because Warrington's the champ, you know, so he might want it in Leeds, which would be fair. They're both under Warren. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where it ends up. I think it'll say a lot.
Got to be a mutual one, like.
Maybe they'll go neutral with it. Yeah, maybe. Bring it to the O2. Will it sell out the O2? Because they're massive in their own...
Well, that weren't a big one, though. Selby, that weren't a big one, was it?
I think it was, because
it was a big fight.
Leeds love him. Leeds love Warren. Yeah. Like, he's got a massive following, and he was at home. It was a stadium.
I remember looking at it. It weren't really filled.
Yeah. I guess
no one there really.
Time will tell. I think it's going to be it's an interesting fight. If Frampton can do what he's done in the past, like the Leo Santa Cruz 1 performance was the one that stands out when he went over there and he won that fight and he looked amazing. He was good against Quigg, but Quigg was a pretty shit fight. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Maybe that'll be the test, won't it? If he's past his best, he'll lose, I guess, because Warrington's coming off a career best performance. So, Richard,
I don't care.
Yeah,
don't give a shit.
Yeah, okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah, so obviously we just talked about Frampton and Warrington, but there's a lot of talk that the fight isn't actually officially made, and Frampton did an interview afterwards where he said the fight isn't official. So one question's come in: why, basically, BT have advertised it that it's done, they've put a poster together and all that stuff, and the fight isn't signed and sealed. Is that a bit of a liberty from the promoter to do that, assuming that the fight is happening? I mean, he is the promoter of both guys, so I'm guessing it ain't going to be a problem. Yeah, it's got to be a formality. I mean, if the fight doesn't happen, they look like fucking idiots because they've put a poster together and everything. But I'm sure it'll be alright. I'm sure the fight will come off. There's a reason that they're as confident in it and they put the poster out there and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure that the fight will happen, no problem. Like we said, we just wonder where the fight happens. That's going to be the next interesting thing. That's most of the questions done. Most of the questions were about last night, but what we're going to do, we're going to talk about something briefly that came out yesterday. Craig put an article on our website about it.
Shout out Craig.
Shout out Craig up in Scotland, New Life and all that.
Haggis and Iron Brew.
Haggis and Iron Brew living. He did the article on our website, fighttalk.net. It's basically about what are they called? The amateur...
Mixed gender competitions.
Yeah, but who said it? The AIBA, that's the word.
The
Amateur International Boxing Association.
Yeah, that's the one. Amateur.
Your boxing media, son, you should know this.
I'm going to throw that camera straight in his fucking face in a minute. Not everyone likes the camera as much as you, Richie, mate. Yeah, so they basically released a statement saying that they are considering introducing mixed gender boxing competitions.
I'll point out...
That's how they worded it.
I'll point out that they have not straight up said any facts. They haven't said men will be fighting women. They have said the statement
could
possibly. No, they've said nothing like that. They've literally put a very suggestive title. This is the problem, which everyone's going a bit mad about. They've put
no one knows
mixed gender competitions. They could compete in the same. Was it competitions or match?
Should we find the actual wording of their statement?
That's what they put. They didn't say that, because I messaged them straight away. I sent them a direct message and said, "Are you saying that men can fight women?" I want to fucking... If they're saying that men can fight women, that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous because, yeah, equal rights, blah, 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 all that. Yeah, women, you can do boxing. You can do rugby, you can do football. Women can do every single sport that men can do. We can do mixed gender chess. We can do mixed gender checkers, cards, anything like that. Mixed gender. If you want to do mixed gender in athletics, fighting, wrestling... Any combat sport, you're giving women a disadvantage. Genetically, men and women are not the same. This is the problem. people are picturing, when this is what some people will picture when they think of a man fighting a woman, they will picture Miss Trunchbull from Matilda fighting against Louis Spence the dancer, and they will think, yeah, that's a well good fight, women have got a chance. That's not who she will be fighting. It's going to be a woman who weighs 110 kilos fighting a man that weighs 110 kilos. It could be Mike Tyson versus Miss Trunchbull. Miss Trunchbull might be tough. She's not tough next to Mike Tyson. It's going to be Paris Hilton against Manny Pacquiao. You know, if you put
let me read you this bit. This is from the actual announcement, right? So they've said, it says, in line with the intention to foster gender equality and the development of women's boxing, AIBA has decided to develop a new competition concept called mixed doubles boxing, where both men and women will compete during the same match. So I don't believe it's men versus women. I think they are deadly serious. From what that says, it's got to be men and women do a round each, but it's classed. It's got to be in it. You against me
like a man,
for a round,
man, and then a woman.
Right. Yeah, but it all counts.
What is your full opinion on this? Listen, bearing in mind, there's no one's turned around and said men will be fighting women, but it's a very suggestive title. It's suggesting it. What's your full opinion on this?
No, it shouldn't happen.
Do you think it means that though? What do you think that even means?
I don't think it'd be that stupid.
Do you think that's not kind of what it means, right?
No, it can't.
So you think of a tag team match like what Sam thinks?
I think they're talking about, say, a round men against men. The next round will be women against women, but they're going to score it together.
I'm going to get a 5-minute rest between rounds.
There might be 2-minute rounds.
Or we're just literally 3 minutes in, out, back in.
Or they cut the ring, and you know that the white collars have 2 rings at once, yeah? Maybe they cut the ring in half. You have men against men in this side, women against women, and they score it. Who knows? It's bullshit. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic.
I'll tell you what. My other thing was perhaps it could be this. So when you enter a team to Olympics, you've been to big games? You did a lot in the amateurs. You might have 10 weight categories. You can have 10 male boxers, 10 female boxers in each weight category. Perhaps what they mean is from your 10 weight categories, you can't choose a man and a woman from the same weight category. So as in it's a mixed gender competition now. So your middleweight will either be a male middleweight or a female middleweight.
But then that's not going to be good for women.
It's not, because it now gives women a smaller pool.
A smaller pool, yeah. It can't be that, because they say they're trying the development of women's boxing. They're saying this is to help women's boxing. Women's boxing won't be helped by having a smaller pool to be included in. It won't develop by fighting men, so that ain't going to happen. I guess what they're thinking is, if it's happening at the same time as the men's, there'll be more eyes on it. I don't know. No one knows. It doesn't make sense.
But if it's happening at the same time as the men, what, like they'll be on the same shows? They already are?
No. They'll be in the same ring.
That don't make no sense.
Nothing makes sense. It's called mixed doubles boxing, Richie. It doesn't have to make sense.
Is this official from the AIBA?
Yeah, this is official from AIBA's official fucking... Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to pull out of the bag here.
Deadly serious. This is the wording they've used. Mixed doubles boxing. By the end of the year, they're looking at sponsors.
I've done this bit live, so if anyone has any comments on mixed doubles, female versus man boxing, please.
I don't think it's going to be female versus man. Time will tell what the fuck they're getting at. It's a very confusing...
What would you be qualified as?
What do you mean?
Because you're like a woman, but you look like a man, don't you? But you're more of a...
Says the one that bit me.
Yeah. You tapped out of a boxing match.
You bit me, Rich.
But I didn't tap out.
I tapped out because you bit me.
Because you took me down.
Can we not go over this every single week? Mixed double boxing is the wording they've used. It doesn't really... That's it. That's literally what they said. To gender equality and the development of women's boxing, decided to develop a new competition concept called mixed double boxing.
Yeah, it's not very clear what they're actually saying.
No.
Oh, someone put a comment on there, I've lost it. It says it's very vague, but that's right. They haven't actually
made it... Yeah, it's extremely vague.
They haven't made it properly clear what they mean by that.
Paul Oldtight, I would definitely pick Sandy Ryan over Conor Benn. Yeah, this is... I mean, women and men spar together, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you sparred women?
Sandy. Yeah,
have you sparred Sandy?
many times.
So...
And Conor. So I could tell you about that.
We'll get to that in a minute. You shared the ring with both them two he just spoke about.
So who would win?
So first of all, why are we're laughing at this, right? If he can spar Sandy Ryan, why can't he box her in the amateurs?
Listen, I don't think the problem.
You know what I mean? You've got to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, when you think of fair matching, you can make it work. With fair matching, you can make it work if you can fairly say, right, your ability is as good as her ability. That is a fair fight. The problem is, genetically, men are strong. So when you're looking at two complete novices, a man has an advantage. Two high-level seasoned boxers, the man has an advantage. If you've got a seasoned female with a novice man, it may balance out, but he's still going to be stronger. So what it will do is, when they go in championships together, for example, we've all been in championships, you start out, as it gets to the finals, the shit boxers are going to get knocked out anyway. They're going to be out of the competition. As it gets to the finals, not only she might be good, she might be smart, she might have all the brains and all the moves. She's just not physically as strong, physically as fast. She's going to get hurt. She's going to be boxing a man with the same ability plus strength advantage. He's going to have genetic advantages.
But why is he allowed to spar her but not box her in an amateur competition?
It's controlled. If you're in a fight, in a boxing match, you're trying to hurt them, you want to win, you'll do whatever it takes.
Isn't that what the ref's there for?
To a degree.
Yeah, to a degree.
To a degree.
Well, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Would you put your wife in there?
I'm just playing devil's advocate. What I'm
saying
is, Sandy Ryan
would you be able to watch your wife fight a man?
Listen, there's a lot of women that can't watch their men fight, period. So it doesn't... If you're a fighter, you're a fighter.
Didn't answer the question.
No, but it's this. My opinion isn't relevant on this. What I'm getting at is, if the British Boxing Board allow a man to spar a woman, it's not against the rules. They don't say when you get your licence, by the way, you may never step in the ring with a woman. Sandy Ryan gets her competition from sparring men, I'd imagine, predominantly. So she feels confident enough to spar a man. Maybe, what gloves? 12, 14, 16?
16 ounce.
So what gloves do they use in amateurs?
Okay, do you ever feel the need when you're sparring a woman to pull your punches slightly?
Oh yeah,
if you've got a visiting male and it's a bit close, you've got no think. Fuck him! I'm gonna dig him. Yeah. You don't mind digging a visitor. You don't give a shit, do you? You're gonna put an extra bit of spite into it. If it's your mates and you're sparring, you might find it funny to land a good one. But when
Terry,
it's someone,
get
a random visitor, you don't mind being spiteful.
Get that comment back. We should have a comment coming. I think it was young Terry Ann said it can't mean men versus women. She agrees. Men are physically stronger than women. There's no two ways about it.
Terry Ann, the comment was it from?
Yeah.
Can you write that comment again? I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Just throwing it about. I just missed the end of it, but I think she said I agree. Men versus women. It can't mean that. It's a ridiculous idea. It is, but they're trying to. Mate, they're stuck, aren't they? They're trying to do something. They're trying to be unique, but they're just fucking coming up with bullshit. They ain't got a clue what they're talking about.
It just won't work, would it?
Nah. They ain't got.
I've no idea to get that comment back up.
That's not good. Can't you throw it to the side or something? No. I've never used this. I don't even know what is
this.
This
is
Facebook
my first
Live?
time. No, this is on Twitter.
Twitter?
Twitter Live.
Twitter.
Welcome to Twitter Live
as well.
Didn't even know you could do Twitter
Neither
Live.
did I until about 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's just a ridiculous idea. What about if the idea mixed double boxing? What if it is a round and then a round?
Alright, there is a thing, chess boxing.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Where they do a round of chess and a round of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Are they trying to say it's going to be something similar to that?
Maybe it goes a man against a man for a round, then a woman against a woman for a round. They do 3 rounds each, and at the end they score 6 rounds. Do you know what I mean? Team
that
England.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
That's the only way I can see it happen.
That makes sense. So I can lose my 3 rounds.
You and me fight, and in between our rounds, there's 2 women fighting.
I might win 1 round. If I lose all my rounds, she wins 3 rounds but knocks them down. We win by a point. If you like. So instead of you doing 6 rounds, I'll do 3, and your partner can do 3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got you.
You can't just tag each other
like
in.
a tag team. Yeah, exactly. I tag you in.
Effectively, you should be able to tag each other in, but
yeah. No, it doesn't. There's no. You're right. It's so vague. No one knows exactly what it means. That's the only possible way it can be done and make any sense is for them to have one boxing match that they combine scores between a woman against a woman fight and a man against a woman fight, because a man against a man fight rather, because there's no other possible way. A man against a woman doesn't happen. It makes no sense. A tag team match. I mean, yeah, boxing's WWE, but fuck me, let's not take it too far. Do you know what I mean? So that's the only possibility that it can happen and make any sense, don't you think? Any other way?
No.
That, like we say, 3 rounds each, or 10 rounds each, or whatever it is. That's the best.
I don't know how it'd work if you'd have had 3 rounds or 3 rounds. Say if I'd have lost them 3 rounds, and then
it worked the same way as a 6-round fight.
Yeah.
The scores just continue on.
It'd be a draw then.
Draw's a draw.
A draw, yeah.
But you could effectively lose every round and still win the fight, because you could lose all 3 of your rounds. Your partner might win all 3 rounds. You say, or drop them, or give them a count, and then you've won by a point. It would work effectively exactly the same way as a 6-round fight, but it's all scored together.
And
They're not scored as 2 separate fights. Scored as one whole fight. So you do your 3 rounds, you win 10, 10, 10 every round. Your partner lose every round. That would then be a draw, but there might be a tie track. Just scoring exactly the same as a 6-round fight, but 2 different opponents halfway through.
But that would work. That would work.
That would work.
That would work.
But
definitely.
what are you going to do? Do 2 entrances at once? There's all 4 fights.
I know, but then how would it work? As in, you'd
How
have
do
to
you
do
do
it.
the switch?
You'd have to have 2 minute or 3 minute break.
Am I? No, because one will be fresh. So I'll do my 3 rounds. 1 minute rest.
Okay.
1 minute rest. 1 minute rest.
Yeah,
And then when round 3 goes, end of round 3,
and then
I'll get out of the ring. They'll get in the ring
It's
ready
like
to go.
half time, basically.
Yeah, like half time. Basically,
Yeah.
They'll
change what corner they're in just to confuse it even more.
They'll get in the ring, and then away you go. You have to stay warm by the side of the ring. That wouldn't work in professional boxing, though.
It's not
Too much going on.
Nothing's going to work in professional
That's
boxing.
too much going on the side of the ring. In the amateurs, I don't know. Do they put them in the box? You know, like an ice hockey, they have like a box at either side, ready to go. I don't know.
There's your live Twitter. We had a couple of comments come in. We're going to work on that then. We'll from next week we'll do a live or next time we'll do a live portion of the podcast. We'll get it set up properly so it ain't being passed around. Richie just came up with the idea now of doing it, so no, it's good. It adds a little bit of interaction, bit of live questions can come in.
Let's have a little bit about Alfie while we're live. We've got a couple of people on there. So when your next fight is, mate?
29th September at York Hall.
How can they get hold of you?
They can get hold of me direct through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. So
what's your Instagram?
It's Alfie Price. My Twitter is Alfie Price 94, and Facebook Alfie Price.
Get on it. Let's go.
Get on it. So go back then. Obviously, let's talk about how you get into boxing, and when did you first go to a boxing gym?
Different. I was actually brought into a boxing gym when I was about, I think I was first born, mate. Me and my brother were twins because I've got 2 oldest brothers. They were West Ham boxers.
Oh yeah.
So I remember Mickey May. Well, I don't remember, but I can remember my old man telling me like them 2 boys there, they're gonna be, and then that. It's mad because I won a lot of national titles for West Ham as well.
Yeah.
And so did my brother, Danny. So I've been brought into it, really.
So when did you start boxing for West Ham? What age did you?
I started boxing at West Ham when I was about 7.
About 7.
And then I sort of took it on for about a year or 2, give it up, started boxing about 10, and went back to Cheshunt Boxing Club, amateur boxing club. That's where Billy Joe was training with Billy, all them sort of boxers. And then we won our first national title, and we took it from there. And I moved to West Ham.
So how many bouts do you have in total as an amateur?
100 amateur fights.
100 amateur fights. You won a lot of titles, and then when does it? Because obviously this is we spoke about it earlier. Different stages of amateurs and what people want to achieve and their goals and that. So, at what point do you decide I want to turn pro now rather than go try and get in the Olympic squad, or you know what I mean? When does that decision come to you where you decide you want to make it? You're going to turn pro now.
Well, I was on the Olympic team, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I was. Rio come, we didn't make Rio, so I thought, all right, we could do this. I had an option of signing another 4-year deal with them, and then Olympics comes, maybe get to Tokyo, and we might not have made it.
Yeah.
So I thought I made the decision, and I thought, no, we'll turn over now.
Yeah.
So,
you couldn't be bothered for another 4 years trying to make it to the Olympics.
It's not another thing as well. It's like,
how old are you?
I'm 24 now, so I could have been 27, and then turn over at 27, 28, and then I had a short career. Like, do you know what I mean? Time is a factor as well.
Yeah. So this is the right time. You turn over. You talk to us about how that. You go right. I'm signing pro, manager, and then promoter, and obviously who you're linked with and stuff. So tell people that won't know about that, who your manager is and how you got linked up with the promoter and stuff.
Well, my manager, I'm co-managed by Frank Warren, and then I'm managed by Mo Pryor as well. Coming about turning pro, I was with my trainer, just all come to me actually on a plate.
Yeah?
Sort of like I meet these people, because I wouldn't know where to start otherwise.
Yeah.
I just literally meet people, I get introduced to people, and that's how it all comes to.
Yeah.
Like, and then I met Frank Warren, done a deal with him, and then now we're just boxing, we're just climbing that ladder.
Yeah, so Frank Warren says to you, look, I want you, sign with me. He accepts Mo Pryor as a co-manager, sort of.
Mad both.
Yeah, between the both. So, is it agreed that you're gonna, because obviously you was on British Warrior show in your second fight, which is Mo Pryor's Your next fight is also on Mo Pryor. Was your debut on it as well?
My debut, I was meant to be on the Warren show, but then I don't. Do you remember all the bad weather we had? All the snow.
Yeah.
The beast from the
I boxed then. I boxed.
Yeah.
Like last December, wasn't it?
No, it was March.
It was this
Oh,
year.
this year,
yeah,
was
this
it?
year. It
Yeah.
fucked loads of opponents up, didn't it?
Yeah, and then
Could have done me a favour and stopped my opponent getting in.
that's what I was meant to do it the debut for that time,
Yeah.
but he didn't turn up, so
Yeah.
I had it rescheduled for a week later on the Mo show.
So now you're at a stage where you're picking up your fights. Is there a, how many times do we say in it how different every boxer's going to be? Have you got in your mind when you want to have your prospect fights and when you're ready, or are you leaving that in their control? Let them decide when I'm ready to step up.
I just with me. I just get told opponent and
What do you want? What do you want out?
I
of it?
want.
What do you want out
I
of
want
it?
to get as many titles quickly, so I want to have a few more fights. Then maybe after my 6th fight, maybe go for a southern area. Or we'll see what comes on the plate.
But the titles is the target for you.
Yeah, of course. It's got to be. So we want to be number 1. So we've got to go through these people, haven't we?
Yeah.
Who else knocking about? Have you? I mean, there'll be guys you fought in the amateurs, 100 fights. Are there guys around the small hall scene at your weight still that you've boxed in the amateurs?
Bump into again.
I could box. I've boxed Josh Kelly twice. I've beat Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
I've beat Mukwango. I've beat a few of them. I've beat Sam Maxwell.
Yeah.
So I've beat a lot of boys. They could always turn up on the door. They're doing well. So
Didn't Maxwell box Lomachenko?
he boxed Lomachenko.
He
twice.
did, didn't he? At your call as well. He
Yeah,
boxed.
yeah.
So you've boxed someone that's boxed Lomachenko. You're in good company. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it?
boxed him. Yeah, and I beat him easy as well.
Did ya?
Yeah, very easy.
So people
I
don't.
think he's calling you out, mate, if you're listening.
Well, one day we'll get it on.
Yeah.
Do you want to call anyone out while you're here?
Not
We'll
yet.
make sure we'll take a minute for you.
Yeah, so
Too early yet.
yeah, early days. Have you got a plan with Frank? Obviously, he doesn't just sign everyone, but at the same time, he likes to. How do you say it? He wants to have the pick? Do you know what I mean? So if you you don't work out, then he hasn't lost anything. But if you are as good as he believes you can be, he's got you. So what do you think the plan is with Frank? Is he going to get you on some big shows soon, or?
Well, I got told by Mo because I was pushing for the big shows, but then Mo said, "Look, this is what happens. He wants you to have a couple fights with me. Basically, just start me off, do all the hard work, basically, and he's going to put me on them big shows. So I've just got to get that exposure. The next fight's on TV. I'm going to show people what I'm about.
Yeah.
So as soon as
It's on Free Sports, isn't it?
Yeah,
This
Free Sports.
British
I
Warriors
did a
card.
poll the other day, by the way. This may have some relevance to you. I did a poll the other day saying, what would you most buy into as a fighter? Someone 15-0, fighting absolute nobodies. Someone 50-50s all the way, so they'll end up with 15 fights, 11 wins, a couple of draws, a few losses. Or does none of that matter? Is it just personality? What got the lowest votes was the record of 15-0.
Yeah.
People care more about personality,
of course.
personality and competitive fights.
Of
So
course.
moving forward, the media stuff,
That's what
the media stuff,
It's
and then
got
chasing them real fights
Yeah.
is going to matter. It doesn't matter if you're losing. I love Jamie Carley. Jamie Carley doesn't win every time, but I'll go and watch him because I know he's going to. Well, I know what he brings to the table,
Yeah.
and he's a nice person.
Yeah. I love Mikey Saki.
Things like
Before he
that,
won his Southern Area, mate, he lost 2 of his last 4, or however you look at
and
it.
it will never stop you from
That's
watching
stop
it.
that Seal Osborne as well. Didn't
Yeah, he stopped Sear in the last round. What a fight that
Was
was.
that a good fight?
It's a great fight.
I just think that should go out to anyone, any pro boxers and yourself moving forward. People want to see you in real fights, but they also will buy into you
Course.
if they can connect with you as a person.
When if you don't, people don't want to see arrogant people as well. Like, you know what I mean, you got to get the fans as well. They've got to make you
Connect
like
with the
you,
people,
of course.
yeah.
They think, oh, look at this geezer. Like, you ain't gonna
It
get.
don't
that.
matter how good you are.
Yeah, of course.
If no one wants to come and watch you, why will Frank Warren have you on his show? If no one wants to see you.
Exactly, that's it.
Just remember that moving forward. It's the thing I put the other day, just out of curiosity, because I know a lot of boxers out there like to fight. They'll just fight journeyman after journeyman.
Because they
I
want to.
think
They
they're
look
progressing.
14 and 0 and
And
they're
I think
30.
they're progressing,
And then
but-
they get a little test and then they flop.
But they're not really progressing.
They
So
can't know it.
yeah,
Yeah.
some of them do it after 11.
That's exactly what you said to me anyway. First,
You need listen. You need a few,
Yeah, of course.
just for the transition, like we said about going from building it. You know, we said about Paddy Barnes a bit too soon.
Yeah.
You build resilience to the round, so give it a year or 2 years. Some people don't take that long. Everyone's different, but for that reason, it's good to get you used to long rounds. Get a tough journeyman, give you 6 rounds. Done that. Get a tough journeyman, do 8 rounds, maybe 10 rounds. Then fight a contender that you probably think you're going to beat over 10 rounds. So it's a real fight. but you're still getting a tough test and you know you're going to win. So you build yourself up.
Timing's right, and you're managed by the right people. Mo Pryor is very well thought of. He looks after his boys, and obviously Frank, everyone knows Frank's situation. I think it's a really good mix. I think it's a really good idea to have someone that he's essentially got first call on, any really. Like if you end up getting something going viral, you know how you get these fights go viral and something mad happens and people start knowing your name. He's got you. You're lined up, ready to go, and Mo's putting on very, very good shows. So I think you're in with good people, man. You're linked up with the right people from early doors. So it can only be positive, can't it?
That's it, mate. That's we want to go up. That's the only way we want to go up, innit? So
yeah. It's next fight, 29th September on Free Sports. Opponent, you've got an opponent now, yeah?
I've got Michael Fonseca from Southend. He's a tough. What I've seen of him, he's tough.
This is his pro debut, isn't it?
Pro debut, yeah. So he's going into the deep end. So we like tests anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this kid. Known from the amateurs. Yeah, from Southend. He boxed at Vange. Was always in and around championship level. I think he might have won junior titles. I don't think he won a senior title. Probably 40, 50, maybe 60 fights. Just over half I think he won. So wasn't a mug. Wasn't a world beater. Wasn't a mug. Wasn't your level, but wasn't a mug.
Is that risky for Alfie?
It is risky. It's risky. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's risky.
Is it?
Depends what his goal is, what he wants to achieve. Because he could be coming in the away corner to be an away fighter.
Yeah.
In which case he can just plod around, get an easy night's work. Or he might be coming to. He might think, right, I tell you what I want to do. I want to get on my debut against someone that's already signed. So then when I knock him out, they're going to take notice of me. So when he comes and knocks you out and takes your spot, it's going to put him in a good position. Yeah. But you're there to not let that happen.
That's what he wants. That's what he wants.
It might be what he wants, might not be what he wants. Yeah, but that's the thing with the unknown. You don't know what he wants.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Time will tell. I reckon that first round you'll know. Yeah, 6 rounder as well.
Yeah, 6 rounds.
6 rounder, your third fight, his first in a 6 rounder.
Last time I see him was on the unlicensed scene over Southend.
Yeah. What was he doing in the unlicensed scene?
Carrying his belts.
Yeah.
Taking photos, smiling.
That's it. I can't wait to get him in that ring.
Talking about Alfie, saying how it's going to be 1 round. Or
That's right. Because we get him in the ring, it's totally different belt.
That's not what he said about you.
You can say all that. It's all right,
no, it's a good card as well. Southern Area title fight on that. Chris Congo, Commonwealth now. Elliot Matthews all on your card. Good show, man. So yeah, just finally, I know you did it earlier. You got tickets still? Or I've
got tickets. Yeah, I've just picked up tickets now. So yeah, if you want to come support me, get in contact with me. So
yeah, Alfie Price all over the.
Alfie Price, you do want to come and support him. He's a good amateur and he'll be a good pro.
And while we've got it and we're bigging up tickets, when are we back? We're going to do one the first week of September, but you're only a month away from back in the ring, Richard.
Yeah, only a month away. 4 weeks away, September 15th.
People still get your tickets.
Yeah, people still get tickets. I only got given 107 tickets, which is absurd because you already have like 200, 300 people come and buy tickets. You
learned a new word this week. You've used absurd like 3 times.
You like it?
What happened? Did someone use it?
I've been hit for a long time. So new words.
New words are staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's absurd. You've only got 107 tickets. People can get hold of you the usual places.
Yeah. Listen, this is Alfie's day. You know where I am.
Yeah, of course. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Work it out. There's only a lot of boxing in August. It's a bit of a dead one.
Should we come here and do I've seen New Age boys, shout out New Age, they do them sometimes without an actual list of things they're going to talk about, and they wing it.
They just wing it,
even when there's not boxing on.
Yeah.
So if people think we shouldn't do it,
yeah, but you're too busy sticking cameras in people's faces. I can't fucking abide it. And you
just for you, mate.
Just going live on all the fucking social media.
You're fucking reckless, Rich.
Yeah,
the kind of guy that takes a selfie for a profile.
I just turn around and there's a camera in my face. It does my fucking head in, man.
Listen, lads, this media, it's the game.
We don't all wake up looking like you, fella. You know what I mean? This has been the Fight Talk podcast. Thank you very much for coming, Alfie, mate. Absolute pleasure to have you on board. Richie, I still tolerate you, but whatever,
Give
mate.
my dog back.
This has been the Fight Talk podcast. Thanks for listening.